today is the Canada Day, and we can all celebrate this beautiful holiday of this beautiful maple leaf country with our Canadian delegation as a memory of the great Parliamentary Assembly 2 years ago in Vancouver. So, now, colleagues, the agenda for this meeting has been distributed. Could I please invite you to adopt the agenda? Are there any objections? The agenda is adopted. Thank you very much. We will now move to consider the amendments submitted to the draft resolution. We have 23 valid amendments that have been tabled, and copies of the amendments have been made available. I give notice to the committee that the order of amendments 12 and 13 be reversed to make sure that they are both discussed. Amendment 13, proposed by Mr. Fassler from Switzerland, will be considered before Amendment 12, proposed by Mr. Hudson from the USA. In discussing amendments, I will call the proposer of the amendment first, and then will call any opponent of the amendment. I will then ask the sponsor of the draft resolution, Madame Carina Odebrink, for her opinion, if she has not already spoken. Following that, I shall put the amendment to the vote. I ask speakers to observe a time limit of 1 minute. We are also required to vote on every paragraph to which there are no amendments. To save time and to avoid many votes on items that have broad support, I hope you agree that if no amendment has been tabled to a paragraph, and if nobody requests a vote on a paragraph, we can consider it adopted. Needless to say, anytime a specific vote is requested, we will do so. Are there any objections to such a procedure? The proposal is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 1 and 2 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want a vote on either of these paragraphs? No? Then, yes, I'm sorry. With no request for a vote, paragraphs 1 and 2 are adopted. Now I call Mr. Fresztak from Poland to propose Amendment 1, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 2.
Good morning, everybody. Russia's invasion of Ukraine, launched with the involvement of Belarus, is a direct and blatant violation of the principles enshrined in the Helsinki Final Act, including the respect for sovereignty, equality, inviolability of frontiers, territorial integrity of states, and fulfillment in good faith of obligations under international law. Russia and Belarus show utter disrespect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, both at home and abroad. Their actions have not only weakened the OSCE itself, but also continue to have devastating consequences for the regional cooperation and security.
Okay. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 1? What is Madame Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think that the amendment will strengthen the draft resolution, so I support it. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 1 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Do we have it? Because I need numbers.
He will count for you.
Yes, okay. Will those against please raise their voting cards? Are there any against? Any abstentions? Okay. Amendment 1 is adopted. Thank you. Now I call Mr. Uberan from Poland to propose Amendment 2, which amends paragraph 3.
Yes, hello, Madam Chair. Good morning, everybody. Yes, we propose to revise paragraph 3, and the reason for that is that 50th anniversary of the Helsinki Final Act is more than a commemoration. It's an opportunity to demonstrate our unity in defending the Helsinki principles that have been frequently violated by Russia's invasion of Ukraine, launched with the involvement of Belarus. The atrocities and crimes committed by Russia and Ukraine have been documented by numerous human rights mechanisms, including the OSCE Moscow mechanism. Russia must not be allowed to disregard Helsinki Final Act principles with impunity. Otherwise, it risks undermining the role of the OSCE as the guardian of the Helsinki legacy. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 2? What is Madame Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
Thank you, and thank you for the amendment. As I think that this amendment, Amendment 2, is exactly similar to Amendment 1 that we just adopted. So I think I will not support this amendment when I supported the first one. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 2 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Will all those against please raise their voting cards? Any abstentions? Amendment 2 is adopted. Now we proceed to vote on paragraph 3 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 3 as amended is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 4 to 7 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want a separate vote on any of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraphs 4 to 7 are adopted. Now I call Mr. Fasler from Switzerland to propose Amendment 3, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 7.
Sehr geehrte Frau Vorsitzende, geschätzte Kolleginnen und Kollegen, Sie wissen, die Schweiz übernimmt im nächsten Jahr den Vorsitz der OSZE. Dies ist für uns eine große Ehre, aber wie Sie wissen, auch eine große Herausforderung. Im Sinne der Kontinuität schlägt die Schweiz vor, einen neuen Paragraphen einzufügen, der auf ihre zukünftige OSZE-Präsidentschaft im Jahre 2026 verweist. Die Prioritäten der Schweiz sind noch nicht abschließend festgelegt. Die Schweiz hat aber bereits bekräftigt, dass die Achtung der Prinzipien der Schlussakte von Helsinki sowie die Förderung der Demokratie, der Rechtsstaatlichkeit und der Menschenrechte die Grundlage ihres Engagements bilden werden. Dieser Zusatz spiegelt den Willen der Schweiz wider, aktiv zur Festlegung von Frieden und Sicherheit in Europa beizutragen, auf der Basis der grundlegenden Werte, für welche die OSZE steht. Vielen Dank für die Unterstützung.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 3? What is Madame Adebrink's opinion of the amendment?
Dear Chair, I would like to welcome the Switzerland's upcoming chairpersonship too, so I support the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 3 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise your voting cards? Anyone who is against, please raise your voting cards. Any abstentions? The Amendment 3 is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 8 to 10 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want a separate vote on any of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraphs 8 to 10 are adopted. I call now Mr. Haidu from Romania to propose Amendment 4, which amends paragraph 11.
Madam Chair, dear colleagues, I propose to add, after which continue to cause immeasurable human suffering and further destabilize the region, an amendment which states that which undermine human dignity and constitute flagrant violation of OSCE's founding human dimensions commitment. This amendment is based on the value system that we have to uphold by OSCE EPA and by this committee also. And the explanatory statement is that the addition reinforces the link between the war of aggression and the blatant violation of human rights commitments under the Helsinki Final Act, emphasizing the humanitarian and normative, not just geopolitical nature of the consequences of the war. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 4? Karina, what is your opinion of the amendment?
I support the amendment. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 4 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise voting cards? Those against, please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? Amendment 4 is adopted. We will now vote on paragraph 11 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 11 as amended is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 12 to 14 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want a separate vote on any of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraphs 12 to 14 are adopted.
You want a separate vote?
Kyriakos, do you want a separate vote? Or?
No.
We come now to the amendment 5. I understand that Mr. Haidu of Romania wishes to propose an oral sub-amendment to this amendment. First, I call Mr. Haidu to propose the main amendment.
Madam Chair, Honorable Corina Odebrink, rapporteur of this committee, I would like to explain why I have a double proposal here. First, I would like to propose an amendment to paragraph 14. The text speaks for itself, and it states, stressing the disproportionate impact of armed conflict on women and girls, particularly in Ukraine, and calling for targeted, OSCE-supported psychosocial assistance and protection services for survivors of conflict-related violence. Whole societies are affected. Real-life people, women, children are affected by this brutal war. People like us, our wives, our mothers, our children. And they endure incomprehensible violence and suffering. And they need assistance to make right something that was broken. And this is why I would like to uphold this amendment. And still I would like to formulate to my amendment an oral amendment if the text is adopted, as I would like to correct myself and the text, as not only women and girls are affected, and I would like to, with my oral amendment, Madam Chair, to correct the text, women and children are affected, as boys and girls are the same in this category, and they both suffer incomprehensibly. So first, Madam Chair, I would like to uphold the amendment, and then please put my correctional oral amendment to the vote. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. In accordance with paragraph 10 of the Rule 22 of our Rules of Procedure, the oral sub-amendment cannot be considered if there are any objections to it. Is there any objection to the oral sub-amendment being considered? Now I call Mr. Haidu to speak to the sub-amendment.
Madam Chair, as I have stated before, at this age, boys, girls, our children alike, I think this reference states more clearly that this special category of victims has to be helped, and has to be helped by our institutions. So I would like to correct myself and add children instead of girls. Thank you so much.
Understood. Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to speak against the sub-amendment? What is Madam Odebrink's opinion of the sub-amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to start to thank Mr. Haidu for your amendment and your oral amendment. I fully appreciate it and I fully support it, and that's also in line with my report that I presented yesterday on the deported Ukrainian children. So I fully support it. Thank you.
I shall now put the sub-amendment to the vote. Will all those in favor of the sub-amendment please raise their voting cards? Those against? Any abstentions? The oral sub-amendment is adopted. I call Mr. Haidu from Romania to propose Amendment 5 as amended, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 14.
Madam Chair, dear colleagues, I would like to uphold this text as was proposed, and I would like you to adopt it by your vote. Thank you very much.
Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 5 as amended? What is Madam Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
I have no further comments, Madam Chair.
I shall now put Amendment 5 as amendment to the vote. Will of those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Anyone against? Please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? The Amendment 5 as amended is adopted. We will now take paragraph 15, which doesn't have any amendments proposed on it. Does anyone want a vote on this paragraph? With no request for a vote, paragraph 15 is adopted. Now I call Mr. Baranovas from Lithuania on behalf of Mr. Cohen from USA to propose Amendment 6, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 15.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment, the goal of this amendment is to explicitly mention the political prisoners who are still in prison in Belarus, and to show them support and to show them that we remember them. We think that such a huge, actually, political topic and wave of repressions which Lukashenko's regime started after the elections, so-called elections, is to be in this report and to be remembered. So please vote for this amendment.
Against, please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? Amendment 6 is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 16 to 19 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want a separate vote on any of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraph 16 to 19 are adopted. Now I call Mr. Frolov from Ukraine to propose Amendment 7, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 19.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment highlights the vital role of media workers, including journalists and citizen journalists, in informing the public about violation of traditional and international law, ensuring access to reliable information and forming an objective understanding of events amid the armed Russian aggression. Colleagues, Russian informational warfare remains a powerful component of the hybrid war against security and democracy in Europe. Journalists and the media are the fourth power, and it is very important that they have access to truthful information to counter agents of Russian influence. So I thank the co-author of the amendment from Czechia, Switzerland, and Sweden, and ask you to support this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Paolo. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 7? Karina, what is your opinion on the amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Frollo, for your amendment. I think it's very important, and I fully support it.
I shall now put Amendment 7 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 7 is adopted. Now we will take paragraphs 20 to 28 together, which do not have any amendments on them. Does anyone want a separate vote on any of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraphs 20 to 28 are adopted. Now I call Madame Moslet from Norway to propose Amendment 8, which amends the paragraph 29.
Madam Chair, let me briefly introduce my proposal to change paragraph 29. It's about how we talk about the war in Ukraine in the report. This is a war of aggression which Russia decided to start. There are no two parties to this war. One country just decided to attack the other. We have to be careful to use internationally agreed language here so that we don't forget who started this war and can stop it anytime. Let me also say at this point that I'm very happy that the special tribunal was agreed last week in Pace. This is a huge step forward. I hope for your support for Ukraine and to point out that Russia is the aggressor of this brutal war. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 8? What is Madame Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
Thank you, Ms. Moslet, for your amendment. I support it. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 8 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Those against, please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? Amendment 8 is adopted. We will now vote on paragraph 29 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstention? Paragraph 29 as amended is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 30 to 37 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want a separate vote on any of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraphs 30 to 37 are adopted. Now we proceed to the amendment 9, but as I've learned, Mr. Wicker, who is the proposer of the amendment 9, is not present. So I'm asking anybody else of the sponsors of this amendment 9 if they want to speak. Then we have to move to the other amendment, to the next amendment 10. I call Mr. Frystak from Poland to propose amendment 10, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 38.
Thank you, Mrs. Chair. As stated by the Nuremberg Tribunal, the crime of aggression is a supreme international crime. The perpetrators of international crimes committed in and against Ukraine and crimes of aggression in particular must be held accountable. It is essential to uphold the primacy of international law and provide a measure of closure for the victims of Russia's offenses in Ukraine. Since the crime of aggression that initiated Russia's war against Ukraine lies outside the International Criminal Court's jurisdiction. Establishing a new tribunal is necessary to fill the accountability gap. An important step was taken on June 25th when an agreement on the establishment of a special tribunal for the crime of aggression against Ukraine was signed in Strasbourg by Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky and Secretary General of the Council of Europe, Alain Berset. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 10? What is Madame Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
I support the amendment. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 10 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 10 is adopted. We will now take paragraph 39, which doesn't have any amendments proposed on it. Does anyone want a vote on this paragraph? With no request for a vote, paragraph 39 is adopted. I call on Madame Friedel from Switzerland to propose Amendment 11, which amends paragraph 40.
Frau Vorsitzende, wir alle sind entsetzt über die humanitäre Situation der Menschen in Gaza. Es sterben Kinder, Alte, Kranke. Die Bilder, die uns erreichen, sind verstörend. Die im Text vorgeschlagene Formulierung der lebensnotwendigen Güter ist zu einschränkend und deckt nicht alle lebenswichtigen Bedürfnisse der betroffenen Menschen ab. Der Änderungsvorschlag zielt deshalb darauf ab, die humanitären Anforderungen breiter zu fassen. Mit dem Begriff ausreichende humanitäre Hilfe sind nicht nur materielle Güter wie Nahrung gemeint, sondern auch wesentliche Dienstleistungen, wie beispielsweise medizinische Versorgung. Es muss alles getan werden, damit die Menschen in Gaza wieder ein menschenwürdiges Leben führen können. Ich danke Ihnen für die Unterstützung.
Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 11? What is Madame Rapporteur's opinion of the amendment?
I support the amendment. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 11 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against, please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? Amendment 11 is adopted. We will now vote on paragraph 40 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 40 as amended is adopted. To ensure that we will be able to consider Amendment 12, we will take Amendment 13 first. I call on Mr. Fasler from Switzerland to propose Amendment 13, which amends paragraph 41.
Sehr geehrte Frau Vorsitzende, geschätzte Kolleginnen und Kollegen, die Schweiz ist tief bestürzt über das unerträgliche menschliche Leid in Gaza. Die Konflikte und Kriege im Nahen Osten beschränken sich aber leider nicht auf dieses palästinensische Gebiet. Auch das Westjordanland, der Libanon, Syrien und weitere Gebiete von Middle East sind betroffen. Wir schlagen daher vor, den Geltungsbereich des Aufrufs in § 41 zu erweitern. Dieser ganzheitliche Ansatz ist entscheidend, um eine umfassende und kohärente völkerrechtliche Antwort sicherzustellen, die den im vorgeschlagenen § 41 genannten internationalen Verpflichtungen entspricht. Ich bitte Sie in diesem Sinne, diesen Änderungsantrag zu unterstützen.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 13? What is Madame Rapporteur's opinion?
I support the amendment. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 13 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 13 is adopted. Now, as I learned that Mr. Hudson is not here, I will now ask any of the sponsors of the Amendment 12 to speak, or any member of the committee to speak. Then we have to move to the paragraph 41 as amended. We will now vote on paragraph 41 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 41 as amended is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 42 to 51 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want a separate vote on any of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraphs 42 to 51 are adopted. I call now Madame Galstian from Armenia to propose Amendment 14, which amends paragraph 52.
Dear colleagues, my modification on the paragraph 52 refers to the trials of Armenian Poles and preservation of cultural and religious heritage of Nagorno-Karabakh. Different reports reveal that Nagorno-Karabakh former leaders and Armenian prisoners of war remain in Azerbaijani custody under troubling conditions. They are subjected to torture and are denied basic legal protections, including international lawyers. Even the Red Cross visits are banned. I urge my colleagues to advocate for the humane treatment of Armenian Poles and other detainees. This includes allowing international observers, such as those from OSCE participating states, to monitor their treatment until their unconditional release. Additionally, I call for safeguarding the region's cultural heritage, which is under continuous destruction because of Azerbaijan's state policy of elimination of Armenian traces. Dear colleagues, I raise the voice of thousands who expect a just resolution from this assembly. My proposal is not opposing the peace process and will only demonstrate Azerbaijan's political will to positively affect the reconciliation process. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 14? Yes. Please, you have a floor.
Madam Chair,
No.
as I understand, dear Karina did a great work on the presentation and doing this report, and they had a lot of discussions with both Armenian and Azerbaijan colleagues, and after careful work and consideration, the original text was acceptable to both sides. Now we see this amendment, and it was followed by counter amendments from the other side, and I really call you, dear colleagues, to reject both this and following amendments and just stay on the original text which Karina prepared. Thank you so much.
What is Madame Odebrink's opinion of the amendment? Yes, I know.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I would like to underline what Mr. Baranovas just said. I think it's important to have something about the situation between Azerbaijan and Armenia in my report. It's very important. But I have tried to be as clear and balanced as possible. And I have had discussion both with representatives from Armenia and from Azerbaijan. And we had a long discussion at the Bureau meeting in April. So I support what Mr. Baranova said. I reject this amendment, and I would like to listen to the committee for decision. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 14 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Those against? Any abstentions? Count. Amendment 14 is defeated. I call now Mr. Mamadov from Azerbaijan to propose Amendment 15, which amends paragraph 52.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Indeed, paragraph 15 in substance-wise is important to Azerbaijan, but it was proposed as a counter-proposal. Since the Amendment 14 is defeated, we do not see the need for insisting on it, so we are withdrawing our amendment.
Okay. Are there any objections to such a withdrawal? Please, anyone? Well, if there are any objections. If there are no objections to such a withdrawal, then we can continue to the next amendment. I call on Mr. Mamadov from Azerbaijan to propose Amendment 16, which amends paragraph 52.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The paragraph 16 is inherently a humanitarian matter, facilitating support for Azerbaijan's demining activities, international support, I mean. We already received some support, the European Union being one of the biggest donors. I think last year they committed to support Azerbaijan with 10 million euro funding, but the overall scale of the problem is huge. We would wish to have more demining support for our humanitarian and demining activities. It is a task that also helps lasting peace in the region, of course. Most notably, it helps to save lives. Thank you.
Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 16? What is Madame Rapporteur's opinion of the amendment?
As I already said, I would like to leave the decision to the committee, please. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 16 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against, please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? Amendment 16 is adopted. I call on Madame Karapetyan from Armenia to propose Amendment 17, which amends paragraph 52.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Dear colleagues, Madam Rapporteur, I want to thank you for all your hard work on preparing this report and resolution. In my amendment, I am, however, suggesting that we remove the reference to the right to return altogether for the following reason. As we could see a moment ago, we cannot agree on who is returning where. And while this right is a humanitarian right recognized by all, leaving a theoretical reference to the right of return has the potential of leaving the door open to developing new conflict agendas in our region. As we have talked here for the past 2 days, Armenia and Azerbaijan have agreed on the text of the peace treaty, and I think at this moment in time it would be very useful for the international community to give signals to us to sign that treaty, which has the title of also not only peace, but establishing interstate relations, which will give us the opportunity to collaborate and resolve all remaining issues without the introduction of any new political agenda under the disguise of humanitarian issues. Thank you very much. So I ask you to vote in favor of my amendment, and I thank everyone who supported it. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 17? Do they or no? Yes. Yes, please, Mr. Mamadov.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The right to return is a basic human right. I mean, it's a completely different matter if this assembly is well suited to address this issue or not. It was not our proposal to have this in the text, but at the same time, politicizing right to return and seeing as a security threat, I think we should not, it's not correct way. But again, we are not initiator of having this in the text. At the same time, for record, we'd like to emphasize that we regard the right to return of the displaced people as an essential element for reconciliation and peace. And how we should address this is a completely different story. But I think it would be interest of all of us not to oppose it as it is. But of course, we leave it to the committee to decide on it. Thank you.
Thank you. What is Madam Rapporteur's opinion on the amendment?
I also, in this amendment, would like to listen to the committee for the committee's decision. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 17 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Those against, please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? Amendment 17 is adopted. We will now vote on paragraph 52 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 52 as amended is adopted. We will now take paragraphs 53 and 54 together, which do not have any amendments proposed on them. Does anyone want to vote on either of these paragraphs? With no request for a vote, paragraphs 53 and 54 are adopted. I call now Mr. Hadjiani from Cyprus to propose Amendment 18, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 44.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This amendment reaffirms the importance of protecting religious and cultural heritage as an integral part of the international human rights framework and a fundamental expression of the right to freedom of thoughts, conscience, religion, and belief as enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The destruction, looting, or deliberate damage to religious and historical monuments constitutes not only an attack on the cultural identity of communities, but also a direct violation of their rights to freely exercise their religion and preserve their historical continuity. Such acts often take place in conflict or post-conflict areas or in regions under occupation, where the safeguarding of sacred sites and heritage landmarks becomes even more urgent. The OSCE has long recognized that protecting cultural and religious heritage contributes significantly to peace, reconciliation, and social cohesion, ensuring the integrity of places of religious worship, monasteries, churches, synagogues, and mosques is inextricably linked to the protection of the fundamental right to freedom of religion or belief. Through this amendment, the OSCE is called upon to send a strong and unified message calling on all participating states and partners for cooperation to comply with their obligations under the international law, actively protect religious and historical monuments, and condemn any attempt to destroy, alter, or appropriate the cultural and religious heritage of any people or community. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyriakos. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 18? Karina, what is your opinion?
I support the amendment, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I shall now put Amendment 18 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 18 is adopted. Now, since Mr. Harris from the USA is not here, I will ask now Mr. Medio from Albania to propose Amendment 19, which deletes paragraph 55.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The paragraph expressed the concerns about the foreign aid coming from U.S., in particular, USAID, NDI, RI, and NED, with most of them I've been working with, but also calls in OSCE countries to uphold the foreign aid commitments. So Congressman Adderholt and Congressman Harris have presented their concern, and they want to change this, delete this paragraph based on their argument that while the text urges OSCE participating states to uphold foreign aid commitments, it is important to note that no such international commitments exist. So the countries on their foreign aid, they decide in their own what kind of aid they have to give or review the aid they want to give it to the countries. And we still believe the Trump administration and the United States of America will be supportive, and they have to do their plans where and how they can spend their money to give the foreign aid to different countries. So I urge my colleagues here to adopt this amendment presented by the members of Congress, because we should avoid unfairly signaling of the United States for justified budgeting decisions. Thank you.
Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 19? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Barry Ward from Ireland. I've heard what the member from Albania said, and of course it is the right of each country to decide how they distribute their aid. But I think it is entirely legitimate for this Assembly to express profound concern about what the United States has done in terms of its foreign aid. We know that children have died because of these cuts. People have lost out on basic human rights, things that we take for granted, even in the poorest members here. I personally think what they have done is appalling. But I also recognize their right to do it. It doesn't mean I am profoundly concerned about it, and it doesn't mean that we should be deleting this paragraph. We should express that concern. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What is Madame Odebrink's opinion on the amendment?
Madam Chair, in times of shrinking democracy, in times of war and in times of insecurity, I think it's extremely important to raise the concerns about foreign aid. And of course, as my colleague from Ireland said, it's up to every country to decide how to do. But United States is the biggest contributor to foreign aid in the world, and it's very important for many people around our planet, inside the OSCE region, but also in many other countries. So I will not support the amendment. I stick to the text in my report. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 19 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 19 is defeated and paragraph 55 is therefore adopted. I call now Madame Fry from Canada to propose Amendment 20, which inserts a new paragraph after paragraph 55.
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to congratulate Ms. Odebrink for an excellent draft resolution. And I was very pleased, obviously, to see that she included a gender perspective throughout the whole thing. And so I want to welcome that inclusion, because we know that concerns over foreign aid cuts, regardless of who cuts it, it is going to impact gender and gender equality disproportionately. And so if we believe in gender equality and we believe in advancing it, I hope you would support her resolution. However, I wanted to add a paragraph. As you can see, it actually is self-explanatory. It talks about the fact that cutting of foreign aid by anybody, this is not fingering anybody, because we know that there's a bit of reduction in foreign aid from many participating states. And so this whole this reduction of foreign aid is going to impact gender equality worldwide, and in the region especially. So I want to add my paragraph to actually talk about the need for humanitarian aid, because we know that a lot of NGOs that are giving support and resources to help women achieve gender equality, preventing family violence, preventing societal violence, that's going to be gone. So I just appeal to everybody to adopt this additional paragraph, which speaks to the problem of any country, all nations, cutting foreign aid. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 20? Karina, what is your opinion of the amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Dr. Fry, for your strong work for gender equality. That is very important. So I will happily support this amendment. Thank you.
That's what I thought. I shall now put Amendment 20 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 20 is adopted. I call now Madame Eberan from Poland to propose Amendment 21, which amends to paragraph 56.
Madam Chair, dear colleagues, I would like to ask you to support an amendment. It's revising the paragraph number 56 by adding the disinformation and misinformation. Strengthening the safeguards against disinformation and misinformation is crucial, as the strength of democracies depends on informed citizens, transparent political processes, and preserving public trust in institutions. So, as I was saying, I kindly asking you to support this amendment. Thank you.
Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 21? What is Madame Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
I would like to support this amendment. I think that makes the paragraph stronger and more clear, so I support it. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 21 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 21 is adopted. We will now vote on paragraph 56 as amended. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 56 as amended is adopted. We will now take paragraph 57. Does anyone want a vote on this paragraph? With no request for a vote, paragraph 57 is adopted. Now I call Mr. Kasirka from Sweden instead of Mr. Wilson, who is not present here, to propose Amendment 22, which amends paragraph 58.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I commend Rapporteur Carina Odebrink's excellent work spotlighting the continued political crisis in Georgia in this resolution. This amendment incorporates two central demands of Georgia's pro-democracy protesters: the release of political prisoners and new election. The Georgian people will accept nothing short of these two steps. All countries that consider themselves transatlantic allies of Georgia and its EU and NATO integration should echo these demands. I welcome the invocation of the Vienna mechanism concerning Georgian Dream's unacceptable response to the popular uprising sparked by its electoral fraud. That being said, the only way out of this crisis is to restore democratic legitimacy to Georgia's government. This requires ending the repression, releasing the prisoners, and holding truly free elections. I urge my colleagues to vote in favor of this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 22? I can see the delegation from Georgia. Who can speak? So it's Switzerland to speak.
Sehr geehrte Frau Vorsitzende, geschätzte Kolleginnen und Kollegen, ich habe mich gemeldet zu diesem Antrag, weil ich letztes Jahr Mitglied der Wahlbeobachtungsmission der OSZE war. Ich bitte Sie, diesen Antrag abzulehnen. Es ist meines Erachtens falsch, wenn wir heute Georgien auffordern, Neuwahlen durchzuführen. All jene, die bei der Beobachtungsmission dabei waren, konnten feststellen, dass die Wahlen sehr gut vorbereitet waren. Sie waren in diesem Sinne fair in den Wahllokalen. Was wir einfach festgestellt haben, dass außerhalb der Wahllokale Druck passiert ist. Aber wir machen meines Erachtens einen Fehler, wenn wir als OSZE Georgien auffordern, Neuwahlen durchzuführen. Es genügt das, was die Rapporteurin in ihrem Bericht vorschlägt. Wir müssen Georgien ermuntern, den demokratischen Weg fortzusetzen, und wir sollten aufpassen, dass wir Georgien nicht ausschließen vom demokratischen Prozess. Ich bitte Sie, diesen Antrag abzulehnen.
Thank you, and now I let the Georgian delegation to speak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I also want to focus on this new election part. The OSCE sent observation mission to Georgia. It observed, prepared a report, recommendations, and Georgia also expressed our readiness to work on these recommendations, and we closed the chapter. Now this amendment completely disregards this entire observation effort. Why do we give mandate to the observation missions? Why do we entrust the observation missions to monitor elections on our behalf if somebody can completely disregard these findings because he or she has a particular short-term political interest? It's not about Georgia itself. It's about the very foundations and principles of OSCE and its mechanisms. We will create a very dangerous precedent and open a new Pandora box therefore, I believe it is in nobody's interest. So I kindly ask all the committee members not to support an amendment and to keep the paragraph 58 as it is and as it is offered by the rapporteur. Thank you.
Does anyone wish to speak again? Oh, sorry. What is Madame Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I will support the amendment. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 22 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? Yes. All those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 22 is adopted. We will now vote on paragraph 58 as amended. Those in favor? Yes. Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 58 as amended is adopted. Now I call Mr. Mamadov from Azerbaijan to propose Amendment 23, which amends paragraph 59.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The proposed amendment introduces a factual clarification by correctly naming the draft agreement on the establishment of peace and interstate relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan. So it gives the correct name of the document. In the second part, it proposes to replace the specific reference to fundamental freedoms and human rights with a more general wordings like normalization agenda in all its aspects. I believe the title, we understand that the peace agreement will, of course, be of great help for promoting human rights and fundamental freedoms. But I think the primary objective of the treaty, as the name suggests, is about the establishment of peace and interstate relations. I think the same argument was voiced earlier by my Armenian colleague, Madam Karapetyan, who also opposed one specific reference to one specific type of human rights, namely right to return. I believe for the consistency, I propose to have this more general reference to benefits of the signing the peace treaty. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone wish to speak against Amendment 23? Yes? Yes, I can see you.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Dear colleagues, I oppose this amendment for the following reason. I see the intention of, albeit gently, but still delaying the signing of the peace treaty. The first part of the amendment suggests calling the peace agreement a draft, whereas both Armenia and Azerbaijan have announced that the text is final, not a draft anymore. So again, I propose to give a strong signal for the peace agreement. I also reconfirm Armenia's dedication to continue negotiations on all other tracks of normalization. In the second part, we are again running the risk of distracting attention with the addition of other aspects of normalization, which were successfully tackled by the political committee this morning. I want to also assure colleagues from Azerbaijan that when we read fundamental freedoms and human rights for all people in the region, like the rapporteur has written, we reiterate that Armenia has no agendas beyond its internationally recognized borders. So I suggest we vote down this amendment and keep the original text of the rapporteur. Thank you very much.
Thank you. What is Madam Odebrink's opinion of the amendment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And as I write in my report, I welcome the conclusion of the negotiations, and I'm looking forward to the signing of the peace agreement and establishment of peace and interstate relations. So with that words, I say, as I said before, I will listen to the committee for this decision, please. Thank you.
I shall now put Amendment 23 to the vote. Will all those in favor of the amendment please raise their voting cards? All those against? Any abstentions? Amendment 23 is defeated. We will now vote on paragraph 59 as amended. Those in favor? Oh, sorry. We will now original version. Because it was the amendment was defeated.
Yeah,
So we will
not as amended.
Okay, I'm sorry. I call this vote confused. We will now vote on paragraph 59 in its original version as it was. Those in favor? Those against? Any abstentions? Paragraph 59 is adopted. We will now take paragraph 60. Does anyone want a vote on this paragraph? With no request for a vote, paragraph 60 is adopted. Okay. Now I have information that we skipped the paragraph 38, so we have to vote about the paragraph 38. Does anyone want a vote on this paragraph? Yeah. It was a paragraph without any amendments. With no request for a vote, paragraph 60 is, 38 is adopted. That concludes the consideration of the amendments, and I thank you. It was quite exhausting. I propose that we now formally move to a vote on the draft resolution as amended. Would those in favor of adopting the draft resolution as amended please raise their voting cards? Those against, please raise their voting cards. Any abstentions? The draft resolution as amended is adopted, and I congratulate to Madam Rapporteur. We can conclude here, and thank you, and we will start our consideration of the supplementary items at 4:30 p.m. today. Thank you very much.